I changed my house.
You cleaned your house.
No, change. I change.
Oh, you changed. You moved.
Yes,
Where do
yes,
you where and do you have a bigger apartment now or what? What's new? What's new?
yes. It's
Yes.
a bigger apartment
Is it
house.
nice?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good, good, good. Did you have a nice vacation?
Yeah.
Good. Did you get COVID?
No.
Zhao Chenliang, how are you? Zhou Chenliang. No, no response there. How about Jen Yang? How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. See,
You're fine.
but
How
yes.
how was your vacation?
Uh, okay. I don't know.
You don't
Sorry.
know.
Too short.
Too short. Salvatore is eating something. What are you eating, Salvatore? A cookie?
Biscuit, yes, cookie. Pavesini.
Okay, very good, very good. Let's see. Good morning, Soon Lu.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you.
You're very well. Okay. So you get COVID, did you?
No.
Good. Everybody be careful, be careful, be careful. Okay. So it's already 9:05. I'm going to maybe just start the lesson. Oh. So who else is coming now? Li Zhao Shou and Han Shu. Hi, Han Shu. Zhang Shu Han. Good morning.
纸张是
What was
Good
that?
morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning, Lucy Suyuan.
Good morning.
Okay. Joyce Shura.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bai Himing. Okay, so let's start the lesson. So as usual, I need my volunteers. The people that I will torment today, the people who will help me do this lesson. Do I need to always just choose? I always see the same little faces. There's Catherine, who's giving me such a nice smile. It's as if she's saying, as she's drinking her tea, I'm ready, Adoya.
I don't drink tea. I take tea, my dear. No.
Oh, excuse me.
I drink coffee. I take tea, my dear. This is the song of Sting, Englishman, New York. I adore it.
Is it tea? It's not coffee.
Yes, it's tea.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
No, it's you said tea, but just to have fun with
I
tea.
know. Okay.
You can torment me as you.
Oh, okay. So you see, I already have a volunteer. Catherine. Hello, I'm asking for people who just are saying.
I could do it.
See, Barbara is always volunteering.
Yeah, me too. I would like to participate.
And Valeria. Okay.
You have my sword.
What's that?
It's by. Okay, I mean.
Oh, okay. So you see, we always have the same people.
Me too.
Who said me too? Anna. Oh, right.
Me too.
So, who said me too? Angela. And so, Jangna, you have to say me too. So we have always the same group.
Okay, me too.
Okay, so let me see if I have all of the people. So I have Angela Zubik. Then there's Salvatore Longo. Anna. So Catherine, Barbara, Angela, Salvatore, Anna, Jiangnan. Jiangna. Is that it?
Yes.
Me too, teacher.
Who said? And Valeria. That's right. Okay. So everybody else, you don't want to participate. I may just call on you, Anna, for example, and ask for your opinion. So those who have not, so Anna, and who else can I torture? Not really torture, torment, say. How about you, Lu Siyuan?
I'm sorry. This week I haven't studied. Maybe the next time.
Oh, okay. So she says not this time. All right. So I don't. Let me see. Just 1 second. How about you, Jai Xiaorun? Hello, are you there? When are we going to be able to do classes in person? I can't stand seeing all of these little rectangles on the screen. Okay, so let's just go ahead with the lesson.
I don't know if I did well propose myself because I didn't understood anything about in the lesson. You
didn't
sent us to
understand
read.
anything?
No, the poetry. I read it, but without feeling nothing. I'm sorry. And about the music, I'm completely out of this kind of music. I don't know it. I don't listen to it, and so it will be hard today to participate.
All right, so let me see if I can illuminate you, Catherine. Okay, so first of all, before I go on to the lesson, so she said, I just read the poem and I didn't feel anything. Now, when you read poetry, you have to be careful, everyone, of not trying to get trapped in a meaning. Okay? Sometimes a meaning has to be sensed and not, let's say, rationalized. It's as if you're listening to music. You're not really listening. You're not really searching for a meaning. You're just experiencing it. And that's something that is maybe sometimes difficult to understand with poetry because you're reading words. So you're trying to make them come together to make a meaning. However, you just have to sort of let yourself go into it. And I don't know if Catherine, if you remember, we did in one of the lessons, I gave you a short description of imagism. And imagism was a poetic movement in which poetry had become so condensed as it evolved that the poets decided that the thing that had most meaning was the image presented in the poem. And from that, you just experienced some sort of meaning that you could only give to it. So having said that, that is the approach that we want to have when we read this poem. Okay, be quiet, Tadoya. Let's go ahead. I'll share the screen. Oops, sorry. Okay, so let's start with Catherine. The first one.
13 ways of looking at a blackbird. 1. Among 20 snowy mountains, the only moving thing was the eye of the blackbird.
Okay, so from the poem, from the title of the poem, it already introduces us to the fact that we're seeing 13 different ways of looking at a blackbird, or 13 small poems. Now, Catherine, what does it mean, ways of looking? Can you give me another word or other words to express the meaning of that? Ways of looking?
Oh, quite difficult. I understand the expression, but to translate it, I don't know. Ways of looking, maybe an approach? No?
An approach? Okay. Ways of approaching, is that what you're saying?
Maybe I'm close to the idea, I don't know. Because
Okay,
a way to look can be something you have inside yourself.
All right, let me ask somebody else. Barbara, what do you think that means? Ways of looking?
It could be referred to maybe a sort of view or a sort of attitude towards the subject.
Okay, all right. So listen, we already have two interesting words here. So Catherine says approach, and Barbara says attitude. Angela, can you add something else here? So we have approach, attitude.
Attitude, and I think when we are looking at something, we elaborate it in a different way. So
okay, so we have approach, attitude, elaboration. Jangna, can you think of another thing?
When I see the topic, I think of certain feelings of the blackbird.
Towards the blackbird.
Yes.
Okay, so we have approach, attitude. Angela, what did you say that I liked? Elaboration?
Elaboration, yes.
And feelings towards. Okay. So approach, attitude, elaboration, feeling towards. Anachron, do you have another way of thinking about looking at, ways of looking at?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't today.
Oh, you haven't? What? You don't have?
I haven't idea.
All right.
Another day. I haven't.
Okay. And Salvatore?
Process or system to analyze, to understand.
What was the first word you said?
Process.
Process. Okay, but nobody, okay, so no one said considering. Do you think it could, Valeria, do you think it could be also considering?
Yeah, but I thought like research or investigate something with an exam, like examine something.
All right. So she said research. That is one that I don't. It's not really an examination.
We forgot
Hello?
to talk about the at. To look of looking at. Maybe the at has an importance to understand well the expression.
Okay, so the act of looking.
Yes, looking at, not looking to or looking after, but looking at. Maybe we are missing something about this at. No?
Okay. All right. Very good. So it's okay. So if you talk about the act of looking at, then you're putting together all of these words that we have been talking about. So the act of looking at comprises an approach towards something, an attitude, an elaboration, a feeling towards, or even a process. So excellent work, everybody. So let's consider, I mean, just in this small title, it's already giving us a key to what is happening here. So these are 13 ways that the artist is approaching his attitude, his elaboration of what he sees, his feeling towards what he sees, and how he considers it. All right, number 2, Barbara.
Okay. I was of 3 minds, like a tree in which there are 3 blackbirds.
Very good. Now let's see. Do you have an idea what that means, to be 3 minds?
Yeah, it could be like a play of words with I was of 2 minds, I'm torn between two choices or 2 options. And it's a play with 3, like something absurd, but also it's giving us an image, something to look at. The 3 minds, the 3 train of thoughts are represented by the blackbirds in this case.
Now, just 1 second. What can I say, Barbara? How many points shall I give Barbara? Angela, how many points shall I give Barbara here?
10 points.
10 points. 10 points.
1 is enough. 1 is enough.
Excuse me, please. Catherine, you said you didn't find anything in this poem. Did you hear what she just said? So first of all, you hit the 3 minds, because it could be, so it's a way of saying, right, Barbara? So doing that again. So if you say I was of 2 minds, what does that mean?
It's like, I don't know, maybe I want to eat something today for lunch. I was 2 minds about that, like I'm torn between 2 things, 2 options.
2 options. I'm torn between 2 options. Harry says I was of 3 minds. So it's as if he's torn between. Good morning, Ruiz Jue. He's torn between these 3 possibilities, right? Or, as you said, it could be like 3 ideas.
3 ideas, a train of thought, or like it's giving us an image, because even in the first part of the poem, it's giving us an image with the 20 mountains, the 13 ways of looking at, the 3, and the numbers are repeating itself.
Excuse me. Very good. And this image is put together by things that seem disconnected, because if you just say, Catherine, I was of 3 minds, like 3 birds in a tree, or 3 blackbirds in a tree, that is the complete work of the artist, because you're talking about something that has nothing to do with birds. You're putting it together and you're creating this image. Okay, so let's continue. Angela, 3.
The blackbird whirled in the autumn winds. It was a small part of the pantomime.
Okay, what is a pantomime?
It's when we express something through gestures. Yes,
Good. Right, gestures, and sometimes it's also related to theater, right? Because it could be gestures and music, but without words, right?
Yes, mostly for kids, I think.
Yeah. So you express meaning through gesture.
Gesture.
Okay. Next one. Salvatore Longo.
A man and a woman are one. A man and a woman and a blackbird are one.
Excellent. Okay, so as we go through these little poems, I want all of you to just choose one that you found that impressed you the most, and think about why. Who was the next one? Zhang Na?
I do not know which to prefer. The beauty of inflections, or the beauty of innuendos, the blackbird whistling, or just after.
Okay, so we have inflections, innuendos, and whistling. All right. So were you able to find the meaning of those words, or you didn't even check, Jangna?
I checked them.
So
and
an inflection, what is that more or less?
it means like a curve, and I don't know how to explain it. Like there's some a point of this curve, and yeah.
And it dips. Okay, so that's one meaning. All right, let's think of some other meanings. An inflection can also be the modulation of the sound of the voice, an inflection in your voice. All right. So if I speak high, then I go low, that's an inflection in my voice. And an inflection can be even a change in a word, in a word form or ending that shows a difference in the meaning of a word. So for example, if you have, this is just a really simple, silly example. If you have got and you have gotten, those are inflections of the word get. So it's just this slight change, right? Whether it could be in a curve, as you said, or in the modulation of the voice, or in just a word. What is an innuendo?
It's a hint, or allusive or oblique remark.
Right. It's a hint. Could be an insinuation, or a suggestion. And whistling, well, I guess, yeah.
It's like a...
Right, very good. Okay, so he says, I do not know which to prefer. The beauty of inflections, so slight changes in things. The beauty of innuendos, the beauty of suggestion or insinuation, or the blackbird whistling, or just other. It's almost as if, would you say, Jangna, that this whistling is parallel to inflection and innuendos?
Yes, or just after. It's
Right.
parallel.
Right.
The silence after all of these changings and whistlings.
Excellent. A lot of points for you too.
Thank you.
Or just after. Okay, next. Valeria.
Okay, icicles fill the long window with barbaric glass. The shadow of the blackbird crossed to and fro. The mood traced in wind in the shadow, an indecipherable cause.
Very good. What is the meaning of to and fro?
To and fro is like oh gosh, like walk across and come back.
Very good. All right. Let's hold this poem for later. I'm going to be asking you later about this. Anna Medraska, can you continue?
O tin man of Haddam, why do you imagine golden birds? Do you not see how the blackbird walk around the feet of the woman about you?
Okay. Very good. Next one. Catherine.
I know noble accents and lucid, inescapable rhythms, but I know too that the blackbird is involved in what I know.
Okay, so here there's a parallelism. These noble accents and lucid, inescapable rhythms. What does that come to your mind, if anything? Catherine, are you there?
About the rhythm of the accents.
Well, it's just, I know noble accents and lucid, inescapable rhythms. What does that, does that make anything come to your mind?
No.
What is he? No. All right, Barbara, do you have an idea of what he's referring to there?
Could be referred to the sounds of nature, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Or the sounds of the blackbird itself.
And what about music? Could it be music?
Could it be music? I was thinking about the other part of the poem where it's just sounds, so it's like inflection, innuendos, whistling. That's why I thought about nature and the blackbirds.
Okay, and the fact that he says lucid and inescapable. There are two things that I don't know, that kind of contrast here, because lucid means very clear and inescapable, that you can't get away from, right?
Yes.
And then he says, but I know too that the blackbird is involved in what I know. There's a very it's kind of strange contrast there. Okay, Barbara, let's read the next one, number 9.
When the blackbird flew out of sight, it marked the edge of one of many circles.
Okay. Continue, Angela.
At the sight of blackbirds flying in a green light, even the boats of euphony would cry out sharply.
Okay, so this has these really kind of strange words here, because do you know what bawds are?
Yes, it's a madam in a brothel.
Good. And euphony?
Euphony, I'm not sure, but maybe like it could be like a really nice sound, maybe.
Excellent. The quality of being pleasing to the ear.
Okay.
Okay. Salvatore?
He rode over Connecticut in a glass coach. Once, a fear pierced him, in that he mistook the shadow of his equipage for blackbirds.
Okay. What does it mean to pierce?
To put an hole in something.
Excellent.
Or to travel between an object.
Okay. And equipage?
Equipage, it's like a team.
Okay, it's usually a carriage with horses.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Next one, Anna. Anna Medarska.
Yes. The road over connecting.
No. You have number 11.
Oh, sorry. See,
That's okay.
The river is moving. The blackbird must be flying.
Very good. And then let's finish with Jangna.
It was evening all afternoon. It was snowing and it was going to snow. The blackbird sat in the cedar limbs.
Cedar
limbs.
And what are limbs?
It's in here. I think it's a branch of a tree.
Yes, very good. Or it could also, so in this sense, it's a branch of the tree, but limbs are also your arms and your legs. All right, so now I want everybody to just choose one of these poems that they found the most interesting. All right, and then we're going to be commenting about the image, the colors that come to mind, and the meaning that is sensed, okay? Or a possible meaning that is sensed, that comes upon you, but not reasoned. You follow me? So I just choose one, and then we'll just read a few of them and talk about them. All right, so I'm coming back. So if you have it on your screen, I don't know, somewhere else, just choose one that you find interesting. I could be calling on any of you. So just don't think that the people that I'm tormenting are the people that I will ask. Okay. So let's see. Jouet, did you find anything?
Yes, of course.
Which one?
I prefer the last one, 13.
Could you read it, please?
One.
Read it.
Yes. It was evening all afternoon. It was snowing and it was going to snow. The blackbird sat in the cedar limbs.
All right. And so why did you choose that one?
First of all, because my name is Snow, so I'm sensitive to all snow.
Your name is Snow?
Yes.
Which is it? Jouet?
Yeah, sure.
Ah, Jouet. Okay, Jouet.
It's just a small joke because my name is Snow, so I'm sensitive to all snow.
Okay.
But that's not the main reason, because at the first time I read this poem, it seems like a boring start of a narrative story. But the more I read it, the more interesting it becomes. Like, it can be the evening and afternoon. It's kind of there is kind of a contrast here. They are all description of the time, but it cannot be at the same time, the evening and the afternoon. So it is not just the description of the reality. It's more like a description of the status of the mind or something emotional.
Yes,
so,
that's very
yes,
interesting.
Maybe inside of this person, it was all snowing or something like that. I can only imagine the white in the black. That's the color comes in my mind.
So that's very, very, very good. Not very good, very interesting, because it goes back to what we were talking about of ways of looking. And so you're saying that we're not talking about considerations, but of states of mind, states of feeling. That's fascinating. And even the black, the white, or the snow itself represents in your consideration of this and your feelings the state of mind of the person. It's like A symbol. So
Yes.
is that it?
Yes, it's like a symbol.
Barbara, what do you say? How many points for? Huh? Barbara, how many points for?
I'd say to give it 10.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're all very generous with our points here. Very good. Okay. So since Catherine didn't feel anything for this poem, we'll ask her which one did she find a little bit interesting?
They're all interesting, of course. But the fourth with a man and a woman at one give me an image, a framework with a circle, just a circle or spheric thing, something kind of complete thing. They're completed themselves by together. And when you add the blackbird, you just add a color. So kind of suprematism framework with I don't know, white framework or nude one, just with a circle and a color.
That's fascinating because you're coming back to Rui Xue, because she said that she's seeing black and white, and you're seeing this circle, which represents you're saying the man and the woman like a frame that constitute a circle, and then the blackbird is the color that completes it.
Yes.
So is there also this kind of a black and white in your image of the?
Yes, or the black, not the black and white, but black and nude, more something emptiness around the circle, the sphere is everything, the microcosmos.
Very good. Okay. Yes. Excellent work, everybody. I love this. So let me see if I can just choose somebody who doesn't participate at not much. For example, Bai Him Ming. Are you there? I have a feeling that sometimes, since I can't see you, and I say, "Are you there?" that person just stays quiet as if they're not there. Okay. How about by Wang Yini? I know you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you choose a poem that you liked?
What?
Did you choose one of those poems
Yes.
that you? Okay. Which one?
I choose the 6.
And could you read it for us, please? Because I.
Yes. Icicles filled the long window with barbaric glass. The shadow of the blackbird crossed it to and fro. The moon traced in the shadow, and in this indecipherable cows.
Very good. What made you choose that one? That was the most, I think, very enigmatic.
See, yes, I choose this because in this one, I feel the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
The emotion powerful. It is some. It has some like a crash.
So you feel a very powerful emotion there.
Yes.
And is it because there's kind of like a contrast? A contrast in the images. So, for example, you have, well, think of just the words. We have icicles, which are these sharp pieces of glass.
Yes.
Then we have barbaric icicles, sharp pieces of ice.
Yes.
And we have barbaric glass, right? And then we
Yes.
have this shadow that's crossing it to and fro. So, I mean,
Yes.
that's already, that's a very sharp image, but it's filled with words that are kind of that are sharp as well.
Yes.
And the whole mood of this image, right, of this shadow, an indecipherable cause, something that cannot be explained.
Yes.
Does anybody want to comment on that? Why did Barbara, did you find that interesting as well? Like Wang Yini?
Yes, very much. And I also thought about the window, the barbaric glass, called barbaric because it is something that separates the speaker, the viewer, from the nature and the blackbird and the setting that it's describing. So there is this sort of it's being constricted through the window. It can be part of that nature in that moment. It can just watch it. And the blackbird, even though the viewer knows that the blackbird is there, it just look at this shadow and it can see fully that the blackbird is there. It just
And
knows
that's why
it.
it's indecipherable in your
Yes,
opinion.
that's but he knows it's there, but he can't see it fully.
Okay, I like that because because you made me think of it in a different way. Because so you're thinking of the viewer as behind the glass.
Yes.
Right. Was everybody else
separated from
this shadow?
From the shadow.
Okay. Did anybody see it outside?
I think, like Barbara said, also to and fro could have two meanings because to and fro could be the blackbird that passed in front of this glass, but also the viewer view actually the shadow.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. The viewer's view that goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, I love this. Great work, everybody. So let me ask one more person.
I want to add something.
Yes.
Yes, because I also chose this poem as my favorite. It has something to do with the movement, to and fro, come and go. And it's related to the last poem that Rishi chose. In the last poem, it's like the movement of the time. But in the sixth poem, it's the movement of the space. It's almost unreal. It's both. It has the feeling of unreal, and both has it has the time and the space. It's for me. It's kind of like in a dream. It's not the real time and space, but a mind, imaginary space and time.
So we come back to Rejue, who said that it's a mental space.
Yes.
A mental state.
Yes. Mental work.
Okay. So what can I say, everybody? 10 points to all of you. Excellent work. Excellent work. Let's go on with the lesson. I could stay on this poem for hours and hours. All right. Let me share the screen again. Excellent work. Okay. So the next part, we've got some boring grammar. Okay. I just want to make everybody look at a small error that I corrected as I was looking over the lesson yesterday. So do you see this part in red here, contingent to? Actually, that didn't sound right to me, and I checked it again and again, and I just wasn't sure about it. It's actually contingent on. All right, so this is just a lesson that continues what we were doing before the vacation. Maybe you don't even remember. So it's noun, verbs, and adjectives plus prepositions. And the meanings that they take on, the nouns, verbs, or adjectives when they are coupled with a preposition. So we have verbs that can be followed by an object and a preposition. The last lesson we had verbs that were just followed by a preposition. And then we have some adjectives and prepositions. But I just want to go over these lists very quickly with you to see if you fully understand the meanings here. So I want to start with Valeria, with from here. From. Can you just read?
Yeah. From, to borrow something from, to protect someone from.
Okay, what does it mean to borrow something from?
Is like, can you borrow your pen to sign, like, ask to someone to borrow something, and after I used, I return your
Excellent.
pen.
Okay, so it's when you ask if you can take something and with the intention of then returning it.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so to protect someone from, we understand. Can you continue with on, please?
Yeah. On, to congratulate someone on, to spend something on.
Okay, let's look at to spend something on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that clear to you?
Yeah, I think.
All right, so
it's
let me
like
give you
like money or like time.
Excellent. That's just where I wanted to you to get, because a lot of people would link it directly to money, but it can also be related to time. So you spend your time on studying for an exam, right? Possible?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Catherine, for?
For, to ask someone for, to thank someone for.
All right, can you give me an example of to ask someone for? Let's say to ask Barbara for, give me a sentence.
To use a verb with ein for doing something.
Yes, but
you have to
wait. I wanted you to give me an example.
Okay.
Of this of using this to ask for in a sentence, but instead of someone you put Barbara. So
I asked Barbara for helping me to do something. No.
Your gerund there is not here. For helping, no. I asked Barbara to help me. Or I asked Barbara for a glass of water.
Okay.
I'm glad you made that mistake, because that made a lot of things clear for everybody.
You can also ask for a favor, maybe.
You can ask for a favor. Very good. Okay. All right.
So to thank for a present.
You can ask for a present. You can ask Barbara for a present.
Thank, it was the second one, to thank.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
For a present. Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, into, continue.
Into, to divide something into pieces.
Okay. Very good. Very good. That's clear. It can only be in that way. All right, Angela, with?
Yes, to provide someone with, or to supply someone with.
What's the difference?
I'm
not sure, actually.
I think it's really similar. It's like to make something available for someone.
Yes.
Like to give him something.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a difference.
Well, let's see. Well, if you provide someone with, you give someone the thing that they need, the thing that you think is necessary.
Okay, yes.
Maybe, because I'm just thinking about it now, but I want somebody to correct me. And then if you supply someone with a supply, usually intends, you're intending quite a few things.
Yes, maybe like, not a lot of things, but maybe like there is something that is requested and then you give it.
Right. But as you say, they're actually quite similar. Okay. And against, Angela?
To ensure something against.
That's a difficult one. Do you know what that is?
To ensure something. To ensure, maybe it's to make sure that something is, to ensure something against. Okay. To ensure something against flood, maybe. It's like an insurance.
Excellent. So you secure and you protect something from misfortune. So it's like an insurance. You're right. Okay. Salvatore, with, and adjectives and prepositions.
Okay. With, satisfies with, familiar with, compatible with, placed with, filled with.
Okay, so just to correct your pronunciation, it's pleased with. Can you pronounce that again?
Pleased with.
Excellent. What does it mean to be familiar with something?
That I know it, or
Very good. Yes. So having a good knowledge of it. You're right. And I guess we understand the other ones. All right. To Anna Nedraska.
Acceptable to, accustomed to, alternative to, vulnerable to, essential to.
Eliminate contingent. I just put it in red.
Opposed to, parallel to.
Okay. What does it mean, accustomed to? Can you give me a sentence with accustomed?
It's it's difficult to explain. Yeah.
All right, let me ask somebody else. How about you, Jangna? What does it mean accustomed to? Jangna, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Accustomed to, I think it means make something, accept or someone accept something as a situation like normal or euro.
Right. Very good. Okay, can you continue with of, please?
Of, representative of, guilty of, capable of, aware of.
Okay. And then let's finish with Valeria. On, in.
Yeah. Intent on, reliant on, focused on, dependent on, interest in, lacking in, involved in.
Okay. What about intent on? What does that mean for you, in your opinion?
Like, I think to do or making something is an intention.
Can you give me an example of a sentence?
I'm intent on to buy a new plant for my flat.
All right. And let's see. Let's say involved in. Catherine, can you give me a sentence with involved in?
To be involved in is to participate.
Okay. And give me an example of a sentence.
I'm involved in a company. I'm involved in a project.
Okay, so you're involved in a project. I think I'm involved in a project is better than I'm involved in a company, but I guess it could, that's acceptable. I would use it more, for example, in a project. Okay, so I think everybody is understood these well enough. Now, before I let you have
I
your
have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes, good.
How do you use contingent on?
Oh, very good. I skipped that. So we have contingent on, and we have reliant on. So Angela, tell me the meaning of reliant on.
It's someone is reliant if he is like we are sure of something, so it is reliant. Like we have a trust in something.
Okay, so reliant on, to make it to be more specific, means to be dependent on something.
Okay. Yes.
And contingent, you can use it in the same way.
Okay.
Okay, good question.
Yes.
I forgot to go to that one. All right, so the next part of the lesson are conditionals. Now, I know this is probably fairly easy for all of you, but I like to always review it because we often make mistakes with conditionals. We forget how to say them properly. So let's go over the conditionals, and then at the end of the conditionals, I'll give you a 5 or 6 minute break, whatever. Let's start with Catherine.
Conditionals. Conditionals are sentences with two causes that describe the result of or consequences of something that might happen, present, future, or that might have happened, past, present conditional, or past perfect, perfect conditional. A cause is part of the sentence that has its own subject and verb. Conditionals are formed with an if, cause, and a result consequence clause.
All right. Okay, excuse me. This clause that we're talking about, these are all right grammatical terms that, and you know, I can get excited about because I'm an English professor, but I realize they're just boring. But anyway, when you have a sentence, for example, if we look at the first sentence of the example of the zero conditional, if I miss the train, I get the bus. Okay, so as you can see, we have two parts in this sentence, and it's the two parts are indicated by the comma, the virgula. Sometimes it's not there, but sometimes it's there. But we'll talk about why we put the comma or why we don't put the comma. However, I'm talking about clauses. So if I miss the train, as you see, it's kind of like a tiny sentence. So you have a subject and you have a verb, I miss. And then in the next one, you also have a subject and a verb. That they're called clauses. So they're similar to mini sentences within a sentence. All right, so continue reading, Catherine. Zero conditional.
Zero conditional. Zero conditional sentence talk about what is always true. Syntax. If clause, if, and present simple. Result clause, present.
Okay.
For example, if I miss the train, I get the bus. She gets tired if she works late.
Okay.
The if clause may come at the beginning or end of a sentence. The if clause is followed by a comma when it's the beginning clause.
Okay, so that's just your little punctuation rule. So if the if clause comes at the beginning of the sentence, you put a comma. So you see, if I miss the train, comma, I get the bus. If the if clause is at the end of the sentence, you do not put a comma to separate the two clauses. So Catherine, can you give us an example of a zero conditional? Something that is always true.
I'm not good for this kind of ideas. If I'm angry, I eat. Something very simple. But I don't
Okay, wait
eat
a second.
just if I'm
Catherine.
angry. I can eat without being angry.
But okay, but let's talk about pronunciation here, because I'm not sure what you're saying. Are you saying
Okay.
angry or are you saying hungry?
Hungry.
Because it sounded like angry, because some people even eat when they're angry.
Okay. Thanks for the correction.
Okay,
but
very
to be
good.
hungry can get you hungry.
Okay. If I'm hungry, I am angry.
Yes.
All right. Okay, next, Barbara, first conditional.
First conditional sentences talk about situations that can possibly occur. Syntax: if clause, if plus present simple, result clause, will or future modals plus base form of verb.
Okay.
Examples: if you don't hurry, we'll miss the train. I'll go shopping after work if I have time. What are you going to do if it starts to rain?
Very good reading. Okay, so if you don't hurry, we'll miss the train. So here you have will, right? Because we said it's either will or a future modal.
Future modals.
And I gave examples here of future modals. So I'll go shopping, or are
what
you
are
going
you going
to do? Brava. Okay, continue reading.
We can use unless instead of if. Unless equal if not. Example: if not, they won't find. Sorry, I can't read.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me make it bigger. 1 second.
Yes.
Okay.
They won't find a seat if they don't arrive early. Unless they won't find a seat unless they arrive early.
Okay. So is that
yes?
Is that clear?
I think so. Yes.
All right. Continue.
We can use when instead of if, when the circumstance is sure. Examples: I'll have a shower when I get home.
Excellent. Okay, so Barbara, here you have to give us an example of a first conditional. Can you use will, please, for one?
Okay. If she has enough money, she will buy them a present.
Good. Now, can you give us that same
with unless?
With no, going to.
Okay. She's going to buy them a present if she has enough money.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so she is not going to buy them a present. So unless.
No, she won't buy them a present unless she has enough money.
Very good. Very good. And when?
And she'll buy them a present when she has enough money.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
Okay. So it's getting Angela and Salvatore will have the more difficult ones. Angela,
okay.
Go ahead. Second conditional.
Okay, second conditional sentences talk about unreal or imaginary situations. If and past simple, would, base form of verb, present conditional. Examples. If I knew the answer...
I'm sorry, wait. I'm sorry. No.
If I knew the answer, I would tell you. The world would be a better place if people created less pollution. If she were better qualified, she would get a better job. If I were a wealthy person, I would use my earnings to fund scientific research.
Is that true, Angela?
Yes.
Okay. Continue reading the note, please.
The verb to be in the if clause takes the form of were for all the persons.
Okay, so this last note is just Adoya, Professor Marshall being a bit particular. So this is super correct English grammar. You use were in conditionals for all of the subjects. However, it has become accepted to even use was. you will even hear people speaking using their their second conditionals and not using were. Okay, and you'll say, well, why are they doing it? Because it's just they're not using super correct grammar. But you, as my very special students, will be using super correct grammar, right, Angela?
Yes.
Okay. So, Angela, of course, you know I'm going to ask you to give me an example of a second conditional, and you're talking about unreal or imaginary situations.
Okay, maybe if I won the lottery, I would buy a big house.
Oh, okay. And where would you buy the house?
Oh, maybe somewhere at the seaside, probably. But it is a really unreal situation. So
no, but I mean, let's use our imagination. We can, be wishful. Where would you like to live? In what country?
Maybe in Iceland.
Iceland.
Yes.
So you want to be in the ice and in the cold all the time?
No, I think the nature is really beautiful.
Have you been there?
No, unfortunately, no. I would like to go.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. In Iceland, can you imagine? All right, so Salvatore, you got the big difficult one. Go ahead.
Okay. Third conditional sentence refer to hypothetical situations and their consequence. Syntax. If clause. If plus past perfect. Example, if I had gone. Result clause. Would plus present perfect. Perfect conditional. Example, I would have seen.
Okay.
Example, if I had known that you were coming, I would have met you at the station. If she had studied medicine, she would have become a doctor.
All right. So let's hear about some hypothetical situations and their consequences from Salvatore.
If I had not slept every afternoon, I would have had more time to study.
Yes. Okay, so do you usually sleep in the afternoon? Do you have a little nap after lunch?
Yes, every afternoon.
So you like
It's a
your
must have.
I know. Actually I am very similar. Okay, so let's take a break until it's 11. It's 10. I have 10:12. So let's say 10:17. Huh? Is that okay? Or let's make it 10:20 to round it off. So go and get your coffee or whatever. See you later.
Thank you.
10:20, 10:20. Okay. Okay. So it's just you and me, Georgia. Hi, Anna. Let's.
Hi.
Okay, so let's just wait. Okay, so everybody's coming in slowly but surely. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. I know we'll start with theater vocabulary. Oh, so by the way, as you saw in the message that I wrote on the classroom, I asked if there were any students that were interested in seeing the Robert Wilson performance. So I've taken your names. So that's up and I closed the post where you could write your names. So the people that have signed up until today are the ones that are that want to see the performance. I will now try to see if I can get the tickets, okay? Because obviously we have to see if there's anything that's happening because of COVID, right? And also if the tickets are available. I think they are, because when I sent a message to Teatro de la Pergola, they said, oh, we're pleased to have your students come. I wanted to just show you one thing so that we can talk just a moment about the tickets. Okay, so these are the students who have said that they want to come. And I've included 2 extra students, Sofia Barbieri and Jiang Manje. These are some of my ex-students who found out about it and asked me if they could participate. So this is our group. Oops, wait, there's too many R's here. Now, the Teatro de la Pergola communicated to me that these are the prices of the tickets. So there's Plateo, Posto Palco, Galleria, etc. And as I said, the Academy will pay for the tickets. We just have to decide which ones do we want. So I want somebody to be able to translate this for me quick. So we have Platea, Posto Palco, and Galleria. Let me go back to you. So what does that, what is the meaning of that? Because my Italian here is not so good. So Platea, is that the first part? Right?
Yeah, it's the stalls.
The Platea are the stalls?
Yeah.
I thought that was the palco.
No, in front of the scene, of the stage.
Front of the, okay, in front of the stage. And the gallery is the top part?
Yeah, the balcony.
And the palco?
Palco? I don't know. Palco.
Posto palco, it says. Both?
Maybe boxes. I don't know.
Maybe those are the boxes?
Palco.
Maybe those are the
I
boxes.
search.
Okay. So when I spoke to the Academy and they said, okay, yes, we'll pay for it. But with this COVID, are we sure that all of the students that say that they want to go will go? So what they're saying for me is maybe I should have you put the money first and then you'll be refunded by the Academy. It could happen like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hello? So what would you be interested in as a group? I'll go back. I'll show it to you again. Anna Medarska, yes? What do you want to say?
Yes. Yes.
What?
I mean,
Which area would you be interested in?
Maybe in front of the stage.
Is everybody interested in that?
Yeah,
Georgia? Salvatore, what do you say?
if the viewer is good.
It's the view, it's where we get the best view, right?
Yeah. And the
Okay.
best sound.
And the best sound. How about you, Georgia?
I think everybody is interested with the best sound and the best view.
So we'd say platea.
I think so.
Okay, so let me check that again. So that's 21. Oops. That's 21 euro. So I'll be in touch with all of you with this group, right? I'll go back to the Secretaria Amministrativa and ask them to pay for the tickets and say what they say. They may want you to pay first and then they give you back the money. Okay? But let me check and then I'll communicate it to you by the end before the next lesson. Okay? Okay? All right. Let's share the screen.
If Academy don't have all money, I think we put a discount on the price.
These prices that I just gave, the discounted prices for a student group.
Okay.
And Salvatore, the Academy will put the money. It's just that they're saying that sometimes they have paid for everything and then the students don't come.
Oh,
you understand?
Okay.
So they're saying first have the students pay and then we will give them back the money. But I want to do it in a different way. I just want them to pay without you having to pay and then give back the money. Understand?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and see if I can just have them pay. Because it just becomes too complicated asking for a refund. You follow me? You go back to the Academy, listen, I went and I paid, so now give me back the money. And they say, well, you have to do this and this. Let's try and do it that the Academy just pays. And in the meantime, do not get sick.
Of course.
Okay, let's go back. Okay, so Salvatore, for example, in this theater vocabulary, right, we have this theater structure. And the house auditorium is the space of the theater for where the people sit during the performance, right? And then we have the seating arrangement. So you were saying that the platea would be the stalls or the arena, right?
Yes, in front of the stage.
In front of the stage. And therefore, the balconies or the galleries
Are the seating in up to the on the right, on the left of the arena, of the stalls, because it's like a ring, and the lower part is the arena.
But
and
no, wait, Salvatore, that doesn't make sense to me because the boxes are the separate rooms. Therefore, if we look at this, excuse me. If we look at this image, actually, I do think this is Teatro della Pergola. If we look at this, the boxes are on the right and the left of the stage. No?
Yes, or depend of the theater.
Ah.
Because boxes are always a little space for few people, but sometimes, like in a famous theater, there are a VIP seating.
Oh, okay. Okay, so if these are the boxes, then the gallery is in front. It's on a level above the arena, or
The
right?
balconies are on the background of the platea. In
Okay.
this image, we don't see.
We can't see them.
We can see them.
It's as if we're actually in the area.
Yeah, it's the view of the photo, the balconies.
Right. It's from the balcony we see this view.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then there's the orchestra pit. Can somebody tell me the name of that in Italian? Because I think it's such a beautiful name. Let's see, look at it, everybody. This is, if you can see the arrow, this is the orchestra pit. Does anybody know what it's called in Italian? No?
Is where there is the orchestra.
Yeah. And what is it called in Italian? Do you know?
Golfo magico, possibile?
Yes, or golfo mistico. I think that's so poetic. Okay. Let's go over some of these words. All right, so at the beginning of the lesson, or of this page, what are the first words that you see, Salvatore?
Can you repeat, please? May I repeat?
What are the first words that you see at the top of the page?
Set design.
Set design. All right. So how do you say set design? Let's use Italian as our language of comparison. How do you say it in Italian?
La struttura del teatro, cioè generale, cioè come viene la disposizione.
No, that's not what set design means. Let's see if somebody else knows. Angela, do you know what set design means?
Decorazione?
No.
No.
But you're closer. You're closer than Salvatore.
Is it scenografia?
Yes, who's speaking? Because I can't see
Barbara.
Barbara. It's scenografia. So the meaning of set design in Italian is scenografia. So be very careful when you speak about the design of the theatrical space. We do not say scenography, even though you may even find that in a dictionary. That's kind of an antiquated term that we don't use anymore. We say set design when we speak about the design of the theatrical space. Okay. Let's go on to other vocabulary. So, Barbara, can you read techniques for me, please?
Techniques for the creation of set design: painting, building, carpentry, architecture, and light.
All right. What is the meaning of carpentry?
Carpentry, is it a construction like I don't know how to translate it.
Okay. Let's see if somebody else can help us.
It's the wood. Oh, sorry.
Who's speaking?
Angela, sorry.
What did you say, Angela?
It's the wood making, like someone that works with wood.
That's right. It's when you construct with wood. Excellent. All right. Let's skip to the part that says set designer, stage designer, scenic designer. Angela, can you read?
Yes. Set designer, stage designer, scenic designer, terms that refer to the theatrical designer that is responsible for creating scale models of the scenery and also for creating the scenery itself. This designer usually works in a team with other theatrical designers. Lighting designer, costume designer, sound designer, prop master, set designer.
Excellent. All right. So, Angela, what is the meaning of scenery? Because we have words here, because since I skipped all of the other definitions, because I don't want to spend time too much on this, but there are a few words here that we have to be sure that we understand. So for first one, or terms actually, first term, scale model. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Scale model. Scale models of the scenery. I have no idea.
You're not sure. Okay. Catherine, do you know what a scale model is?
Maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe it can be the model in the good scale, in the natural measure. No?
Okay. Not quite, but you're getting close. How about Jiang Na? Do you know what that means?
No, I don't know it.
Huh. Does anybody know it?
Is it the smaller version of our set design?
Yes. So you know that your stage has a certain dimension. In order to understand how to create, how you will design the set or the scenes for that stage, you create a small model, but in scale. That means with the same proportions as the theater stage. So it's a scale model, is a smaller model, but with the exact proportions of the stage.
In Italian,
yes?
Isn't it the plastico?
I guess so. It would be. Yeah.
I don't know.
Scale
I'm not
model.
sure, because in French it's something else.
What is it in French?
La maquette.
La maquette. And that's and in maquette is the plastico.
Yes, it's a little model in for a building or a house.
Right. Exactly. Perfect. Okay. So, Barbara, what is scenery? Are you there, Barbara?
I had a microphone. Is it maybe the sort of background, the setting?
Yes. And okay, so scene, and then we have scenery. Okay, so the scene is the created setting, and the scenery is basically another word for saying scene. And set is the environment where the play takes place. So set and scene are practically the same thing. Let's look at these words. So we have a lighting designer, and this is something when we go on to read about Robert Wilson, he concentrates, his work as a theatrical designer is basically all about light design. Then we have a costume designer, the person who creates the costumes. Then the sound designer, the person who thinks about how sound will be represented during the performance. And then we have the set designer we have at the end. And then this thing in this between sound designer and set designer, prop master. So in order to understand what a prop master is, let's look up towards the first set of words that are defined here, and we say props. Now, props are the objects that are necessary for a theatrical production. And this prop master is very closely linked with the set designer, because the set designer will decide, okay, so in this scene, I want certain colors but I also want certain objects like a table, a chair, a lamp, and those objects are called the props. So the prop master is the designer that is responsible for getting all of those little objects that are necessary to compose the scene. or the set. All right, now let's look at this other vocabulary. Jang Na, can you read, please?
Yes. Other vocabularies: audience, script, mood, play, comedy, drama, tragedy, tragicomedy, musical, opera.
Very good. What does that mean? What does audience mean?
The people who watch the show.
All right. Now, sometimes when I correct the comments that you students write, I often find that you use this term to refer to people that look at a work of art. And I say that is incorrect. Why is that incorrect? Jang Na.
The people who look at artworks named like viewers or more in general, and the audience is more like specific for a space, like there has a show or something like that in a special place.
Good. Let me just elaborate what you said. So if we look even at the form of the word, the first part of the word, right? This prefix is audi, and that is related to sound. So therefore, a group of people that are considered an audience are a group of people who are, more than anything else, they're hearing something and they're looking at the same time. So if you are in a museum and you're in front of a work of visual art, you are a spectator, you are a viewer. Audience refers to people who experience a performance that has in some way linked to it sound. So an audience would be in a theater, and an audience would be in a theatrical performance, or an audience could be in a concert. All right, what is the meaning of script, Jang Na?
Script is the story of the show.
All right, so she says it's the story, but I think we can say something more about this. So Valeria, what is the script? It's the story and it's something else.
The script is the written of story that the actor read and make the show.
Okay, so you're saying that the actor reads the story. Let me see if somebody else can make it clearer here.
It's like, sorry.
Okay.
The writing in form of sort of the drama, like it's the lines. It's not just the story; it's the lines that the actor has to learn.
The dialogues.
Okay,
Dialogue.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, so all of you have put it together very nicely, because we have story, which is another word for plot, actually. Okay, that's the theater German.
Sorry.
Yes.
And also the movement of the character in the theater.
Very good. So within this script, we have the story or the plot, all right, that is explained through the dialogue. And in the script, we have indications that the playwright gives to the director to say the actor has to move to this certain part of the stage, or in this moment there has to be daylight, or it's nighttime. Okay, so there are a lot of things that go on in the script. Valeria, what is the meaning of mood?
Mood is like the atmosphere in the scene.
Good, excellent. And let's look at the word play. So how many ways can play be used, Catherine?
The play, a lot. It's
okay.
first
Can you give me an
with
example?
game.
Game, right?
Play game. To play a
Mhm.
play, because it is the same word.
Okay.
Play.
All right. So, okay, 1 second. That's an excellent. So we have to play. Okay. So first we have it as a noun, game. Okay.
Yes.
And then the action of the game is also to play, right?
Yeah.
And then, as Catherine just hit it on the dot right away, when you act, you are also playing. You're representing the play, which is another word for a theatrical performance. All right, so one more verb with play, if you can remember it.
The behavior you have to play to be someone else. So it's not a game. It's to be somebody else when you play a character.
Okay, all right, but
it's acting.
Yes, but wait a second. Don't say
maybe
it's not
to
a
play,
game.
To play music also, it could be used.
All right, that's the other thing that I wanted. So, it's also to play music, but
oh yes.
All right, so Catherine says it's not as a game, but if you consider it, the fact that we know that the word play is related to having fun and doing something, I think that even in acting, it is related to
a role.
Huh? What is it, Salvatore?
A role.
Yes, you pretend to be something else. So there is that aspect of fun and of I don't know.
It's a kind of lie in the religion. The old religion critics about actors is to be a liar.
Aha.
When Molière died, the priest didn't want to come to give him the last sacramenti. And he died without a priest. And his companion had to make a lot of writing to obtain that he has been going in a cemetery. Because
let me come back to
that. Yeah, so he was a liar for the Christian time.
So
to play can be to lie.
Okay, but 1 second, Catherine. To lie in what sense? That you rely more, the fact that you rely on your imagination to represent things, okay, or you use metaphor, can be considered by certain people who are afraid of art to be a lie.
Yes, because you're not telling the truth.
You're telling another type of truth.
We are talking about a long time ago. Actually, obviously, it's different. Some people are thinking that the earth is plate, so we can also find this kind of people today. But I'm talking about Molière, so 4 centuries ago.
Yes, but you know what? You're talking about Molière, but the mindset of many people hasn't changed. Therefore, a lot of people don't understand art. They don't understand imagination. They don't understand metaphor. And they think, well, that's just stupidness. That's just a lie. That's not real. They don't understand it's another way of seeing reality. But that's an interesting comment you made. Okay, let's go back. Oops. Okay. And then, so in English, when we refer to a theatrical performance, we say play. And for example, a comedy, a drama, a tragedy, a tragic comedy, a musical, or even opera, these are all types of plays. I don't know if there's an equivalent in other languages for this, because for example, in Italian, you say, vado a vedere una commedia, una tragedia. Is there a word for play in French or in Italian or in Chinese? So, Zhangna, is there a word for play in Chinese, or are theatrical representations kind of classified?
I can't remember. Help me, other Chinese.
Okay, all right. I'm just interested in the use of language to refer to theatrical representations. How about Barbara? Is there a word for play?
I don't think that there's a word in Italian that actually capture the meaning of play. More.
So you would say una commedia?
Yeah, I would say specifically what I'm saying.
Right. How about in French, Catherine?
We say a pièce de théâtre. A pièce,
so a theatrical piece.
La pièce est the play.
Ah.
What kind of pièce? Quel genre de pièce tu vas voir? I go to see a comedy.
Ah.
La
So you would say sempre now. You would say always pièce?
Une pièce de théâtre.
Ah, okay.
Molière écrivait des pièces de théâtre.
So you would always qualify it with di théâtre.
De théâtre. Yes, because a pièce can be a room.
Oh.
But if I say, je vais voir une pièce, I don't go to see a room. it's obvious in the French people mind to know that you go to the theater.
Ah. So, that's so beautiful. Okay, so do we have any other Chinese students who can translate play, or is there no translation for it?
I don't think there is a
sorry.
Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
Shit.
Okay, tell me.
I don't think there is a specific translation. I can only remind of one word, "si."
And what that means? Si.
I think it means play, but it also can include all of the comedy, drama, and opera, something like that. But I think it can be "si," this word.
And it refers to theater.
But it's a traditional play, I think.
It's a traditional type of play.
Yes.
It's a traditional type of play, but it can also be other type of play.
Very interesting. Okay, let's continue. All right. Valeria, please read.
Yeah. Experiments at the center. Peter Book. There are two words, the everyday word and the word of the imagination, another level to reality. There are a lot of words for it, imaginative, poetic, and so forth. No matter, we all know what we are talking about. When children play, they pass quite naturally and freely between the two words all the time. Children, at one and the same moment, hold a stick and pretend it's a sword, and yet it's a stick, and they don't get confused. If you say to them, it's a sword, while you are playing the game, then if suddenly you come and say, drop that stick, it's a stick, there is no confusion. They can't coexist. There is total freedom between the two words. This is something that children have and then they lose.
All right, very good reading. Valeria, so what do you think about this? Do you agree with him that
yeah, it's very interesting, this thing, because I worked with children, and it's very true, this thing, because the children mind very it's coexist, these two words.
the two worlds
It's
coexist.
very simple. Yeah,
But do you
yeah,
think
yeah.
that they also coexist? I mean, the fact that you choose to be an artist is maybe because you choose also to hold on to those two worlds?
I think that the children used these words, but without a thought, without a mind.
Ah, very good.
Meanwhile, the artist can choose what words and to put two words in the artwork on or one of words or both
This
of
is
them.
that's a very interesting comment you've made, because if you think about it, the children, he's talking about children who do this very instinctually, no? But and he talks about this, but the fact that he rationalizes on this, right, means that as an actor or as an artist, it's not that we do it instinctively. We come through to it. We come back to this kind of representing these two worlds or putting them together on an intellectual basis, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Very good point. Okay. You're welcome. Anna Medraska, could you read Margaret Croydon?
Margaret Croydon. So, are you applying that children are capable of the work or actors? Would actors need to have the same kind of imagination? Would they need to be capable of living in the two worlds at the same time?
Okay, very good.
Peter Brook.
1 second. Let me go on to Catherine.
In certain societies, most particularly in Africa, the poetic world, the supersensory world, the imaginary world, and the everyday world also intermingle all life long. What Western analytical minds call the superstitious attitude is nothing but a natural free passage between one sort of reality and another, which intermingle from birth to death, so that the two don't separate. The theater always, in all its forms, has containing this double element. The theater is the meeting place between these two worlds.
Very good. What does it mean to intermingle, Catherine?
To cross, no?
Not
To
really.
meet often, to...
It means to mix together.
Yes, to mix together. To cross, when I said to cross two ideas and to put it together.
I see what you're saying. All right. And what does it mean by the supersensory? Do you know?
Supersensory is something maybe you feel more than that you know.
Okay. So it means, okay, so super above. So it is what is above the senses. It is above what is perceptible to the senses.
Yes. For example, the sixth sense.
Okay.
You guess.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All your senses make you guess something you can see, you can touch, but you feel it.
Very good. Okay, so he talks about sticks, right? Let's look at these images. So this is an example of Peter Brook's of the set design that is used in Peter Brook's theatrical presentations. So he says that you take a stick and it becomes what you decide, right? A child says this is a sword. Catherine, for example, what are these sticks representing in your opinion in this image?
The sticks are creating the space, obviously, but also an object. For example, these two people seem to be under something, maybe a roof. So the stick is a roof. So the stick becomes what the register decided to be.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So what you said at the beginning is that the sticks in some way create the spaces, they divide the spaces. And in the instance of the two actors, it seems as if they're a weight on the actor's back, right? So you could say it could be a roof or even something else. So let me ask Barbara this question. So the fact that he gives us, as you can see, this is minimal set design, right?
Yes.
The fact that he gives us such limited information, right? Just these sticks made of this. Does this, is it a way to push the audience to create their own images of the scene?
I kind of think as maybe also forcing us to see something beyond what's simply represented on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like connecting the dots. So like the two sticks maybe become a I don't know, a place, a room, a roof, a shield, or whatever. I also think about what we said before about children maybe moving freely between the two words. I think that it has to do with the knowledge, the restraint of knowledge. Like when we grow up, we know things, we know the difference between things, and that's why we don't move this freely. But I think that through art, we are capable of pushing ourselves and seeing things in a different light.
So I like the word you use, pushing, and I think that is linked to the intention of, well, I don't know, the intention, or maybe the idea of Peter Brook of representing things in this way. Therefore, it's as if he's bringing the audience to that connection between the imaginative world and the real world. Therefore, you're pushed to see that those sticks, okay, so this is a room, or this is a roof, or this is a weight, right? You're pushed towards linking, you're pushed to going towards that, the state of childhood, of play.
Yes, and I also think that once again, the audience has to participate in a different way. You have to push yourself, you have to think differently, so you became part of the play in a way, because you have to imagine the design, the set design.
Very good. Okay, let's continue. So that's Peter Brook's vision of theater. Now let's go on to Robert Wilson. Oops. Actually, I just wanted to tell you about these images here. So we have Robert Wilson not only works with theater, he's also is a visual artist, and he did a series of video portraits that I saw a show of these video portraits at Villa Panza a few years ago, and they were just extraordinary. And some of the video portraits, I don't know, how can you say, referred to works of art. And in these two images, we can see he chose Lady Gaga to represent, I'll have Catherine pronounce this with her beautiful French, to represent the painting. Can you read?
The name of the painting of Ingres, Mademoiselle Caroline Rivière.
And by the artist? Ingres. Okay.
It's not a beautiful name.
Pardon me?
It's not a beautiful name.
Why not?
Because ingrat, ingratitudine.
Oh, is that what it means?
No, it doesn't have no sense, but it's not pretty to hear. It's not lovely to hear, this kind of pronunciation. But ingrat.
Yes, I mean, it's kind of even difficult to say for me, but I figured that's just because I don't know French. And but if you consider it, you say it's not a nice thing to hear, but his paintings are just so beautiful.
Yes, yes. I don't like the one about Napoleon Bonaparte. I dislike this one.
Okay.
I dislike this.
It's a bit too, it's almost, yeah. I don't know. It's not really much in his style. Don't you find it's kind of it's almost like hyper realism?
Yes, but I think it's I don't like to use it about painting, cold painting and warm painting, but it miss of moto e fiato. It's missing.
What does that mean?
Is
Moto e
missing in
fiato?
ink. This is something we learned about Rinascimental style on Florence, and it's when you add some life in your art. It's full of life.
So I learned something. I've never heard that term. So it's molto fiato. So you add life to something.
Yes, it begins with Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay. So I just wanted to explain why I chose these two, because I really liked that show. And these video portraits, you see, why is it a video portrait? Because it's basically a still image, right? But that has slight movement. So it's as if he brings even more life okay, so that molto fiato to the work of art itself. All right, so let's do the reading. So Barbara, can you read?
Yes. When a dog stalks a bird, his whole body is listening. He's not listening with his ears, with his head. It's the whole body. The eyes are listening.
Okay, so that's kind of a contradiction of terms, but it's as if to say that the whole body participates.
Super sensory.
Right. Very good. It's a super sensory experience. Continue.
Wilson has always sought to question and test the presumed essential elements of theater: the spectator, the performer, the writer, the stage, the story. His productions are highly controlled. They are minimalist as well as intricately detailed.
What does that mean, intricately?
Intricately,
or intricate. You can say intricate.
Something like complicated.
Yeah, very good. It's having many complexly arranged elements.
Okay.
So think of that contradiction. They're minimalist and at the same time complex.
Okay.
All right. Angela.
Yes. Initially, Wilson created works that investigated perception from both sides of the invisible boundary that divides the stage from the audience. An early work by Wilson, Deaf Man Glance, was inspired by Wilson's friendship with a deaf boy named Raymond Andrews. This mostly silent work was a composition of fantastical scenes of purely performed images. It was not a performance that generated images, but rather images that called for performance.
Okay, so attention here. Let's underline this because here we have the essence of Wilson's work. So when you look at a theatrical piece by Wilson, right, there's an extreme concentration on the composition of the theater picture. So the composition of the set design, or where the actors remain positioned, the color, the light is actually considered to be an image after an image. And those images call for the performance? What does that mean that the image calls for the performance, Angela? In other words?
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe like a movie still.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So maybe we can like, it's enough just to see an image and to think about what is going to happen next.
All right.
Like we can presume what is going to happen, maybe.
Right. Very good. Okay, Salvatore, continue.
Wilson directs the stage toward the presentation of images and avoids traditional notions about plot. He describes this as a formalist approach. He asserts that he prefers formalism is presenting a work because it creates more distance, more mental space. He believes that control structure, procedures, emotion, and visual elements in the theatrical one moment. Theatrical situation lead to a sort of space where truth, not representing truth, can materialize.
Okay, so there we have a lot of stuff here to think about. First of all, let's discuss the concept of formalism. Did anybody find the meaning for that?
It's I prefer to show the image instead of emotions, of that image can emanate.
Good, excellent. So let me rephrase that in another way. It's an emphasis on form, or let's see, even on content. It's an emphasis on form over content or meaning. So he's just giving you this this visual experience, right? And he's not trying to give it a meaning by making the actors be show sadness or happiness or something like that. He's giving you the controlled structure, right? Even the emotion is controlled, and he's giving you controlled visual elements, and in that you find the truth. Anna Medradska, can you continue?
Yes. Wilson also pays a great deal of attention to the most ineffable part of the productions, lightning. His use of white is...
Okay, excuse me, Anna, excuse me. I just had to correct you 1 second. If you say lightning, it means that what comes in the sky in a storm. This is lighting.
Okay.
Okay, so careful with the pronunciation.
Okay, thank you. His use of light is extraordinary, difficult, and unusual. He separates elements with white. Okay,
sorry.
It's better. He separates elements with white in order to control them independently. He wants the four treated as a whole until the separately painted with light.
Okay, stop 1 second. He wants the floor treated as a whole unit and separately painted with light. Okay, stop and let Zhang Na finish.
He wants the background treated as another whole, with maybe one color shaded into another. Then he wants the human figure separately etched out with light. And very often he wants the head or even the nose of that figure separately lighted.
Okay. So let's look at some of his work. So wait a second. I would like to comment these images of his work, and we have, I want to talk about the theatrical space, but in relation to flat space, deep space, and dimension, and also the figure ground relationship. So we can talk about symmetry, dynamic, static. All right. Let's go back to the images. So this, for example, is a photograph of a moment during the Jungle Book. All right, so what can we say about the sense of depth or flatness within, after looking at most of these images? Is it a deep space? Is it a flat space? Let me ask Jiangna, because you were the last one.
For me, yes, it has some deep, but for me, it's more like a flat background, flat space, because
It's a flat space.
yeah, we can see in the background all the plants, because it's refers to a jungle, but all the images are flat and like shadows in the back, and also one of the actor hold the leaves, it's flat.
Okay. Let's see. Barbara, do you agree with her that the images that we have of his set design, do they mostly represent a flat space, that there's not much depth in his
I think so. I think it gives more of an idea of a flat space, and I think also that the use of light in his work is more to delineate the images or the background, but not so much to represent a depth.
Oh, okay.
Depth.
Yeah. It's not.
I think it's
the light, the use of light.
flat.
So the use of light is not to represent depth, but to represent the elements within the set design?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, let's look at another one. Oops, sorry. For example, this. So here we're again, this is a minimalist. Angela, what would you say about the use of figure-ground relationship? The relationship between, is there a relationship between the background and the figures?
Well, we do have like an actor that is in front and the one that we can perceive as behind here. But I do agree with Barbara that is really flat, like
right.
There is no deep space here.
So even though, as you say, we can see that somebody is in the front and someone who is is behind, it's as if there's still this, it's almost like a flat picture, right? Yeah. In which we don't really experience the perspective depth.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go on. Let's look at another one. Okay, so this is the death of Marina Abramovich. It's I remember looking at a video in which Robert Wilson talked about this performance, and he said that Marina Abramovich we know she's a performance artist, but she had nothing. She had no idea of what it meant to do something on the stage. So doing something with her was a very interesting experience, because he combined his knowledge of the stage with her style, her performance style. So even here, Salvatore, what can we say? We can say even here, I mean, it's just basically, as he's even said when talking about his work, he's representing pictures. He's not representing depth. He's not, it doesn't seem.
It's an emotional space where the light try to explain how the subject what feels.
That's interesting. Is it only light or is it also color?
The color of the light.
Uh-huh.
Because there are specific color, the green, the yellow, the red, the Spider-Man.
It is a Spider-Man.
For me, is a crossover between Avengers and Justice League. Well, okay. The main character is the woman in black that explain the different state of mind. The green may be the greed or the despair.
Yeah. Yes, it could be that.
The white
right.
is the void, like someone who fall by the stairs.
Yes, yes. That's very interesting.
So
Okay.
the light is the very protagonist.
Now, so the last thing that I asked you all to do was to look at this in Serie Prepare. Now, this video just shows, I mean, it doesn't, I would have preferred to see something that concentrated on these images that are represented in his theater, but it concentrates mostly on their singing. So, for example, Catherine says, I don't understand that singing or anything like that. But did any of you notice some of the things that we've talked about in this kind of a formalist approach? Let me come back to you. The formalist approach that we were talking about, even within the singing and in these images of the set design. Did anybody notice anything?
There was a scene that in the background you could only see like a Greek capital, a part of a Greek capital, and this one is also like really minimalist. There is like just one object that sets the whole scene, so you know that you are in like, how do you say?
You know that you're, I don't know where you are. You're in some place that has like a ruin or something like that.
Yes, like an antique Greece or.
Yeah. And did anyone find it interesting? Because if you consider it, even the way they sing, it's very kind of rigid, and there's not much emotion in it. If did anybody notice that? Hello, Catherine, what did you said it didn't say anything to you, right?
No, I just I just have quite difficulties to understand opera and lyrics because I didn't learn anything about it. I just can feel if it's pretty, if I like it, like Pavarotti or this kind of things. Obviously, I feel emotion listening to it, but the piece I've heard wasn't not very beautiful, so I didn't felt anything. And to watching the lights and the place, for me, it's very graphical. I think it's a graphical play more than everything, and it's quite flat, and I don't feel death, obviously, because it seems to be like a book, just a book, reading a book with music, but reading a book was quite flat, like a comics. One of them was with Spider-Man. Okay, it's but everything is like in a comic book. You just see graphical things, and the light. So for me, the light.
Excuse me. Yes, Catherine, may I interrupt you 1 second? That's interesting. So even this lack of depth, right, in this representation of these images, it makes you think that there's a lack of depth even in a communication of meaning.
I want to get out.
You want to get out.
I don't feel fine inside.
You see that? That's I like this. I like some contrasting feelings here. So, right, Barbara, did you have that same type of a sensation?
I think that it's something where the audience is more like a viewer in this case. Like you have to watch it, you have to view it in a certain way. Like maybe through the trailer. The trailer moved too much through the actor and the scene, and I think it's meant to be watched flat, like while we are still to view it. So I think that the images were more representative of his work than the trailer itself.
Yes, I agree. Okay. All right. So excellent work, everyone. I'll see you next week, and I'll have news for everybody who is interested in the Bob Wilson performance. Let's see, I should be able to give you the news about the payments and whatnot by Wednesday. Okay? All right. Have a good weekend.
Sorry.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.